All right, let's jump right in. We're going to deconstruct one single brilliant little scene from Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream. It's short, it is absolutely hilarious, and it perfectly sets up the play's wild and chaotic finale. So, put yourself in this situation for a second. You've landed the gig of a lifetime, a performance for the Duke himself. Everything's ready to go, but your lead actor, he's just gone, vanished into thin air. That's the exact crisis that kicks this whole scene off. So let me introduce you to the Mechanicals. They're this really lovable but totally amateur group of actors, and their big show is in serious, serious trouble. Their star, a guy named Nick Bottom, is nowhere to be found, and they are, to put it mildly, in a full-blown panic. And they don't just think he's running a few minutes late. Oh no, their minds immediately jump to the most dramatic conclusion possible. He's been kidnapped. This tells you everything you need to know about their mindset. For them, the stakes are sky high. Flute, one of the other actors, just comes right out and says it. This isn't just a little hiccup for them, it is a total catastrophe. Their entire play depends on this one guy, and without him, they're convinced the whole thing is just over. And we're not just talking about finding an understudy here. In their minds, Bottom is literally irreplaceable. There is no plan B. The show cannot go on. End of story. And their belief in this is absolute. I mean, even the director, Quince, says it flat out. In the entire city of Athens, nobody else can play the lead role of Pyramus. It's such a huge claim, which really makes you wonder, why? What is so special about this guy? Well, to really get why they're panicking so hard, you have to understand how they see Bottom. To them, he's not just another actor. He is a legend. And the praise they start piling on him is just comically, absurdly over the top. Just look at this list of his supposed talents. In their eyes, he's not just a decent actor. He's the smartest guy around, he's the best looking, and he's got the voice of an angel. I mean, they see him as this perfect specimen of a man. And here's where it gets really funny, and you see just how simple and earnest they are. Quince tries to praise Bottom's voice, but he messes up his words and calls it a paramour. Flute has to jump in and correct him. He means paragon, a model of excellence. A paramour is, it's an illicit lover, which is definitely not what he was going for. It's this great little moment that shows how much they admire him, even if they can't find the right words. But their faith in him isn't just about compliments. They think he's going to make them rich. They're absolutely convinced his performance is so good that he'll earn 6 pence a day, which to a working man back then was a huge amount of money, like a potential lifetime income. And Flute is so dead certain about Bottom's star power, he's willing to bet his hat on it. This line just perfectly sums up their unshakable faith. For them, Bottom's performance isn't just going to be good, it's a guaranteed financial jackpot. So, just when they've hit their absolute lowest point, thinking all is lost, the whole scene flips on a dime, because their lost star, the legend himself, makes his grand entrance. But, as you're about to see, he's not exactly the same guy who disappeared. And just like that, he's back. This simple stage direction is the turning point. All that panic, all that mourning, it comes to a screeching halt. And listen to his first words. He has absolutely no clue about the chaos he's caused. He just strolls in, ready to get on with rehearsal, as if he just stepped out for a minute. But he comes back with this huge secret. He says he's had this incredible, wondrous vision in the woods, which of course the audience knows involved the fairy queen. But he totally refuses to spill the beans. He builds up all this mystery, promising he'll explain everything. Eventually. Now, with Bottom's return, the energy just does a complete 180. The despair is gone, replaced by this pure, frantic, joyful excitement. He doesn't just show up. He shows up with news that sends them all scrambling. And here it is, the big news, the moment they were hoping for and thought they had lost. The Duke has finished all his wedding stuff, and he has specifically asked to see their play. Their big break is officially on. And Bottom immediately takes command. He just starts rattling off these orders, transforming from the missing actor into the take-charge director. He is now the engine driving this whole operation forward. And these final notes for the cast are just priceless. They perfectly capture their wonderfully simple idea of what makes good theater. Clean clothes for the heroine? Okay, that makes sense. The lion must not cut his nails, so he looks fierce. But my favorite? Nobody is allowed to eat onions or garlic. Why? For pleasant breath, which they believe will make the entire play more pleasant. It's just so wonderfully absurd. So, when you step back and look at it, what makes this little scene so incredibly effective? Well, it's just a masterclass in how to juggle comedy and suspense, all while pushing the main story forward in a really important way. Think of it like a bridge. It's the scene that carries us out of that enchanted, fairy-filled forest where Bottom had his bizarre adventure, and it drops us right back into the human world. It gets us all set up and ready for the play within a play, which is the big climax of the whole story. I mean, just think of everything this one scene accomplishes. It's fantastic comic relief, obviously. It builds up a ton of anticipation for this ridiculous play they're about to put on. It shows us again how simple and endearing these guys are. And by making them almost lose their chance, it raises the stakes for their final performance. So, everything is finally in place. They have their star back, they have their slot to perform at the palace, and they have their questionable acting advice. They got the gig, for sure. But the real question hanging in the air is, after all this drama and panic, is their play going to be a triumph or a complete and utter disaster? Well, that's a story for the final act.